Welcome, everybody, to the Body, Soul, and Spirit podcast. We've been talking about identity, so I want to just jump right in. Continue talking about what true identity looks like. How do we discover it? One of the things that we have to understand is growth is really impossible for us without change. And fulfillment is impossible without being authentic. We need authenticity. We need to find who we really are, our true identity, in order for us to feel fulfilled. And for growth to be possible, there has to be a change. So we have to change when it comes to removing all of the masks, the imposter syndrome that we've carried for a long time, or even what we've wrapped around our identity. See, true identity is not external. It doesn't come from successes or accomplishments, but identity is really at the core of who you are. It's rooted in God, and it's a blend of all the gifts and lessons that you have learned all along the way. This is a process of discovering who you really are, and that looks different for everybody. My process to discovering who I really am may look different for you. This took, for me personally, a lot of moments in prayer. Moments of confronting my own self and the things that perhaps I had rooted in my identity. It took moments of awareness about the truth of me. Facing hardships actually led me to finding who I really was. See, when you step in your true identity, you step into a new level of power. You don't compare yourself anymore because you know your God-given design. So you stop chasing after the wrong things. You're really aligned to your purpose. Life takes on a new meaning. You're really guided by the truth of who you really are. See, the world will assign you an identity, but you have the power to claim your true identity and dismiss what the world has assigned to you. You're not labels that other people have put you or put on you. You're not defined by failures nor your circumstances. To discover yourself and to find out who you really are, you're going to have to silence the noise. You're going to have to muffle all the voices that speak about who you should be or what you are because of what you have done. To discover yourself, you have to silence every voice. To uncover your true identity, to find yourself, you're going to have to find your path that's uniquely yours. Because freedom begins when you let go of all of that. When you let go of all that isn't you, that's where freedom truly lies. False identity. It's really defining, and it begins to define our own decisions. When we have a false identity, it defines the decisions that we make. It starts to shape our perception, and it starts to give us these limiting potentials. We are limited in what we can and cannot do because it's a false identity. So we begin to put these limits around ourselves. Nobody put the limits. We did, through a false identity. When you don't know who you are, you start to define your decisions. But based on that false identity, you start to shape your own perception, and nobody's shaping that perception but your own false identity. And then you start to limit yourself. This false identity whispers lies about who you are, and it puts chains around you, and it doesn't let you live authentically. It doesn't let you live to the fullest. You see, the truth is that you are not what others call you. You're not what happened to you. Sometimes even a casual remark could get into your identity. Sometimes even a circumstance can get into your identity. Sometimes what somebody else said that had nothing to do with your identity, but it got rooted into your identity. And they take root and they affect how you see yourself. That's a distorted identity. And you know where it comes from? It comes from rejections. It comes from betrayals. It comes from painful experiences. And we actually convince ourselves and we say we're not worthy, we're broken, we're incapable. And we start living in a way where we start to avoid potential. The truth is, they're all distortions of really who we are. You see, nobody has the authority to define you except the one who created you, which is God. So the first step to finding your identity is awareness. What got attached to your identity? Think about that for a moment. What has been rooted in your identity? When you feel insecure or unworthy, incapable, what got in? What gets into your identity? What internalized into your identity? Is it something that you decided? Is it a perception? Is it a comment? A remark? What happened to you? A season? Recognize it. Because you can't break free from something you failed to acknowledge. This requires a lot of intention. And it requires us to replace it with truth. Surround yourself with people that see the real you. That's important too. Sometimes it means walking away from things because it only reinforces the labels. So for us to find our true identity, we're going to have to go through a process that involves also forgiving ourselves. Forgive yourself. Forgive those that hurt you. Forgive yourself for the wrong decisions that you made. Forgive yourself because you didn't do it all correctly. See, and forgive yourself for accepting even those labels. Some of us have to forgive ourselves because we've allowed those labels. We have to forgive ourselves because we've allowed even a circumstance to get internalized into our identity. We're going to have to let go of the anger if we're going to find our true identity. We're going to have to let go of the shame and the guilt and the labels that we've carried. We're going to have to let go because beneath all of that, you start to find out who you really are. When you think about true identity, it's a letting go of the layers of insecurity, the layers of the criticism, the layers of the words that you have spoken towards yourself. Because the real you, the true identity you, the real you is resilient. The real you is capable. The real you is not limited. The real you is worthy of love. The real you is worthy of success. You have the ability to redefine that true sense of self, whom God said you are. This is called restoration. When you find your true identity, you can pursue your dreams and live authentically. This will require you to confront painful truths, to step into the unknown. But the reward is so worth it. You start to experience a new level of confidence, a clarity, a purpose. You stop living for the approval of others and you start living for the fulfillment of your calling. You stop being defined by what you are not and you start to embrace what you are. See, freedom is not about changing who you are, but uncovering who you have always been. These false labels cover your life, but they don't have the power to extinguish the real you. The world needs the real you, the unshakable you. See, true identity is not rooted in temporary things. It's anchored in eternal things, something that's unchanging. You can't change your true identity. It's anchored in the eternal. It's connected to God, rooted in eternity. It brings clarity. And you understand you were created with purpose. You were designed with a God-given purpose for your life. This truth gives you meaning. It gives you worth. It provides strength when you are going through storms. And you realize that the storm does not define you. When you know your true identity, you can face adversity with confidence. You have value when there's difficulty. You have purpose, and that purpose remains intact. True identity empowers you to persevere, to emerge stronger. This identity gives you a sense of belonging. It lets you know, I'm not alone. Even when you are surrounded by others and you may feel this sense of aloneness, but you're not lonely because you know who you are. You feel significant. You see, having a true identity is rooted in eternity. It keeps you anchored and grounded and focused in what truly matters. It allows you to live in clarity. It's rooted. It allows you to live boldly. Power is not found in striving. You know where power is found? Power is found in alignment. And if we're going to find our true identity, we're going to have to align some things in our life. You see, when alignment comes into our lives, we start to align to who we truly are. True power that sustains you and fuels your purpose and brings lasting peace. It comes from alignment of your true identity and purpose. So true power is only going to come when you find true identity. It sustains you. It fuels you. Alignment leads to no pretense. Aligning to your true identity, there's no inner conflict there. There's no pressure to prove yourself. There's just this flow. You have value. You have purpose, energy, and you find power there. There's no distraction. There's no doubt there. There's no striving. It's not rooted in fear or insecurity. It says, I'm enough. I'm worthy of love. Striving is exhausting, and it disconnects you from the real you. Have you been striving? It's time for alignment, because alignment will stop the cycle. Alignment requires you to really ask hard questions about your true identity, about what got rooted in your identity. Alignment will require us to really get to the core of these hard questions. Am I trying to keep up with everybody? Am I trying to prove something? You see, alignment brings resilience, and you can face anything. You can face challenges. You can face setbacks, because those challenges do not define your identity. Alignment is so powerful. It replaces striving with peace, confusion with clarity, and exhaustion with fulfillment. It's time to align. Align your identity with what God says. Align your identity with your core of who you really are. And that will be discovered. It'll be discovered through the hard questions. It'll be discovered through the alignment. It'll be discovered when you start to see yourself in a more clear way, where you start to identify and become aware of what you have allowed to attach itself to your identity. And when you do find your identity, when you know your identity, fear loses its power.